Welcome to the Roadmap to Secure Love. In today's episode, Kim and Kyle discuss how shifting loyalty from your parents to your partner can protect your relationship and deepen connection. Let's dive in.
Hello, 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 Kyle. Today we have a fun podcast. Kind of feel anxiety even talking about it because we're talking about the in-laws and when you're married. And dynamics around in-laws is just hard,
So hard.
so hard. And it can cause unnecessary stress within the marriage. So what do we do
I
about
think
this?
I think the first thing is a lot of couples don't necessarily go into detail about how do we deal with in-laws. We kind of just fall into the system, right? We kind of fall into the ways our in-laws operate or the ways our parents operate. And then there's some conflict that often shows up between partners, right? Oh, it bothers me that your parents do this, or, you know, oh, my partner's doing this. I want to go tell my parents, right? How, maybe have them give advice on how to be a better partner, right? But a lot of these moves can really impact the relationship in a very negative way.
Absolutely. And I think we fall into like the jokes too.
Mhm.
Like this is the way it is, so like just put up with it.
Right.
So like you're mama's boy, Kyle, so mama's gonna be really jealous of your partner or whatever, and then that's like laughed off.
It's
It's like it's
dismissed.
supposed to be like that. Or like my dad is gonna be super protective of me and I'm the princess. And if my partner does not treat me as such, then they're the enemy.
Mhm.
And we fall into like, oh, our parents' behavior after we're married is acceptable.
Mhm.
So let's not do anything about it.
Right. And the problem is when we do that, is we are still stuck in our childhood with our parents, right? We actually haven't shifted to marriage, which is our parents become our peers and our partner becomes our chosen family.
Oh my gosh. So I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't want us to answer it live, but I have a question for everybody who's listening. I want you to think about when you're with your parents and you're with your partner, okay? And you're all together. How old do you feel?
It's a great question.
Boom, boom, boom. We revert.
Mhm.
So I'm almost 50, right? I'm almost 50. And so it's kind of like painful to think about when I'm around my parents with my family. I'm not 50.
No. But I mean, it's because we go back to the familiar place, right? We end up playing roles in our families. And even if we sometimes logically know better or intellectually know better, there's very subtle ways which we fall back into what's familiar, right, around our family. And so this is something it is when we do that, our partner will be like, wait, where'd you go? What's happening here? You weren't the person when we drove in the car. You've now totally changed. Right. And so there's going to be conflict because your partner is going to bring out, hey, I noticed your parents do this, or hey, I noticed one of your parents does this, or hey, I noticed this part. And that's where you're going to feel this split. There's going to be a pull of, okay, do I defend my parents? Do I try to take my partner seriously? What does this mean about me? And it can get really tricky,
Tricky,
right?
tricky, tricky.
But the thing is, in those moments, is how can we have this one-on-one dialogue with our partner about what they notice and just be curious about some of the patterns that they might notice and pick up. Not to dismiss them, not to go, oh, that's my mom, or oh, that's just my dad, but to ask them about the impact of that and what they see or what they see change in yourself. And that's actually by doing that, it helps us start to look at things a little differently. Because I always like to look at this if when we're in a family, it's kind of like we're in a portrait, right? Family photos. Our partner then comes in and goes, oh, I can actually see the whole frame. I can see this whole picture, whereas we're kind of in it, right? So we can't really see the whole dynamic. And so our partner's going to be able to point some of the stuff out, and it's going to confront some stuff on the inside for us. And so I'd really encourage is to be curious about kind of what your partner's bringing to you and
Yeah.
about the family dynamics and maybe even how that might be impacting you that you've not really seen or even had the space to acknowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle, you said something when we were talking privately, which about today and what we're going to talk about that I just thought was so great. And I think it's appropriate here is that when you have a partner and you're married or you're in this committed partnership, your alliance changes
Mm-hmm.
from, the child in your parental relationship, right? To now your own human
Mm-hmm.
with your own family. And that's where the protection and your alliance now, the strongest alliance happens. And just developmentally, there's like this, range of like developmentally what happens to the system, the family system throughout the years. And whenever there's a loss, you launching as a child, the system kind of goes a little crazy. And whenever there's an addition, so a partner coming into the system gets a little crazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like either you stay in the dysfunction because it's easier, or you change and sit with the discomfort a little bit until the change can occur in order to create this new reality.
Mm-hmm.
And creating a new reality in the system is hard.
It's so hard because it's different. It's foreign. It's odd, right? There's going to be a part when our partner brings up something that, or they do something that we didn't experience growing up that we might want to go to our parents and talk to them about it and maybe get their advice, right? But then that can put your partner in a pretty negative light or have your parents start to look at them differently. And being able to shift alliances, go, okay, this is my chosen family. How do we deal with our things together? How do I go to my partner about it first and us to navigate it? And if we can't get that, how do we find professional help around that? Because if you start to go to your parents and talk about your relationship challenges, you now have a biased perspective that's going to only focus on protecting you, not on protecting the marriage, not on protecting the relationship. That also is betraying your chosen partner because they're not having a voice in that conversation, right? And so you have to think about when you get married or you're in a serious relationship and you've changed your alliance, you have to protect your partner in a few different ways. The first is you have to protect their image and how you're talked about to friends, to family, but especially to your parents, right? Because what you say about them, how you talk about them, your parents are going to take that very seriously, even if you're being playful and joking.
So I have a confession.
Yeah.
I'm pretty loving, I think.
Hmm.
I'm pretty affirming and pretty forgiving, I think, except when it comes to my children. So mine is not married yet, but I can already tell you that if the partner that they choose is mean to them, upset them, hurt them in any way, even if it's just in the normal context,
Hmm.
I am never going to forget that.
Hmm.
Now, will I have to get therapy about it? Sure. But
Sure.
I promise you, I will never forget it. Like
Hmm.
they'll be over it and done, and they'll be like living on their life. And I'm going to remember, on this day, you hurt my kid.
Right.
And I'm right there.
Right. And that will impact how you treat them, even if you try not to.
Yeah. So I'm going to get therapy about it, y'all. But I'm just telling you, it's legit.
Hmm.
Because if you hurt my kid, even as a friend,
Hmm.
and you make up, I remember.
Hmm. I think
Human
that,
nature.
what was that?
Human nature.
It is. It's totally human nature. But this is why when we change alliances, we have to not think just about ourselves. We have to think about the impact on our partner.
Right.
Right. I mean, Stan Tacken talks about this two-person system. We go from a one-person system to a two-person system. I have to think about not just what's good for me, but what's good for you.
Yeah.
Right. And this is another area that people get really tripped up is, their partner brings up a concern and they might, oh, that's just my mom, or my mom didn't mean that, or it wasn't that big of a deal, and they downplay it because that's what they grew up with, but it actually leaves their partner feeling betrayed.
Yeah.
Leaves them feeling like, wow, I just brought up something that was hurtful or bothersome and it got totally dismissed.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're, again, that's another way in which our alliance is with our parents and not with our partner.
Yeah.
Right. So it's taking that seriously. And then the last thing, just to kind of add to this, is when you go to your parents, or like when your partner brings up something that's bothering them, right? You don't have your partner go and deal with your parents. You don't go, oh, you have an issue with my mom. You two need to talk about it. No, you need to be the face of your marriage. You need to be the face of your relationship to your parents. And it has to come from you. It can't be, oh, this bothers my partner. It goes, no, this actually bothers me, right? This is something that's important to me. For my family, the chosen family I have, needs to be respected or treated this way, right? That's going to give your voice the power to have your parents actually look at growing and changing versus going, oh, my partner thinks you guys are not very respectful.
Mhm.
Right. What that does is that makes your parents go, well, your partner's dramatic, your partner's ridiculous, and they're not going to take it as seriously versus when you say, hey, this is what I want.
Mhm.
That is sending a strong signal that this is what I believe too.
Yeah.
And you're showing up as the face of your marriage to your parents and not having your partner have to deal with them because they're not their parents, they're in-laws.
Yeah. We have to take the brunt of that because I got to tell you, it's a lot easier as mother-in-laws, father-in-laws to blame the spouse
Oh, 100%.
than to blame the child because what that means is like maybe the child is upset with me
Mhm.
and it then I start to think about view of self, like my view of myself. Maybe I've been a terrible mother or they don't like me or and I have this connection with my child,
Mhm.
right? So then all of a sudden I start feeling bad. So it's a lot easier for me to blame somebody else and
Mhm.
say, oh, it's coming from so and so and not my child
Right.
because it then really hits home. But when you have changed alliances and now you're the face of the marriage and you're listening to your partner, it's your job to go, mom, dad, mom, dad, dad, guess what?
Mhm.
This isn't working.
Right.
And I say it's not working. Um, then they can't blame my partner.
They still might try.
They still might try,
Right.
but then I can say, no, no, this isn't so and so. This is me.
Right.
And I'm telling you things need to change.
Mm. Or this is the choice we're making, and I'm making this choice, and I'm a participant in that choice. Well, no,
Yep.
your partner is the one that's making you do this. No,
Mhm.
I am a fully autonomous adult that's choosing to do this, and this is what I'm choosing.
Yep. Powerful and hard.
And that's why it's so important because when you stand in that power, it helps your parents see your growth, see the change, and start to change the alliance.
Yeah.
When you scapegoat your partner, they go, oh, you're still a part of our family. You're still a little child. And your partner's just this other person that's outside of our family unit and outside of our family system. And they can be the scapegoat. They can be the problem. They can be the problem stepdaughter or stepson. Or
Yeah.
not stepdaughter, stepson. What was it called? Why am I blanking on this? Son-in-law, daughter-in-law. There we go.
I was like, I'm blanking too. Y'all, this is the kind of morning Kyle and I are having. We're like,
Yeah.
what planet are we on? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But I think that's what's so important is it really we have to really think about putting our chosen family first and being the face and dealing with things seriously. Because when we don't, it's going to cause problems not just for us with our parents, but it's going to cause problems for our chosen family.
100%. Now, so what we're saying is that your alliance has changed.
Mhm.
You have to be the face of the family. So that means we talk to our own parents. We don't ask our partners to do it. We allow our partners to actually share what they see
Mhm.
and just begin to look at like, what age do you feel like when you're at your parents? By the way, that's a very normal thing, by the way.
Mhm.
Most people say research has said within 3 days you revert back.
Mhm.
So I just want you to know that if you feel that way, you're pretty much normal. But doing what we're asking Kyle is not easy. And there's some fear that probably comes up in the couple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to invite, and maybe we can talk about it in the next episodes, what people say is in the comments here. Talk about what you might be afraid of if you became the face of your marriage, if the alliance shifts, if you begin to change the system. What are you afraid might happen with your relationship with your parents, or what that might do? Because I would love to continue to address this.
And I think that's what's so important is we're creating a space for you to open up about the things that get in the way, about changing that alliance, about adapting to the new family unit you've created so that we can support you in showing up for your marriage and still keep a connection with your parents as
Yeah.
best as we can.
Yeah. So I want to invite you, and Kyle and I want to invite you that if you're listening and you're having feelings or thoughts, share it with us because we would love to be in dialogue with you. And we'll keep talking and we'll keep learning together.
Today's episode reminded us of the deep emotional work it takes to protect love. Key takeaways include 1. Shift your primary alliance. 2. Set compassionate boundaries. 3. Protect your partner's image. And 4. Be the face of your marriage. Follow Kyle and Kim on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to sign up for the Secure Attachment Path course to explore your attachment style, uncover relationship patterns, and learn practical tools for building secure connections. Link to the course can be found in the show notes and on our website. Until next time, stay connected and love fully.